All right, let's do this. Nick is not with me. Again, this is, I think, the second time that Nick Geddes left a little bit later, or he thinks he left on time, and then he comes into Orlando, and there's a little bit of traffic. So the walk of shame is going to be, you can just keep looking in the background right there, waiting for Nick Geddes to just walk on up late, and we can publicly shame him. But hello, everybody, and welcome to the UCF versus Oklahoma State Charge On Pregame Live Show, the last pregame live show of the season. Boy, has it flown by, as always. I'm your host, Sean Green. With me will be Nick Geddes here when he can walk over from F Garage. Hope you all are doing good. It's a beautiful Saturday. It is a little bit too hot for Saturday in late November. I said, I went up to the press box before, and I said it definitely feels a little weird. Normally, when it is late November, it's at least a little bit chilly. But boy, is it hot. It feels like August right now. UCF fan last game at home, except there's a 94.7% chance it won't matter. Chance BYU beats us according to ESPN. So we can kind of get into this game. Also the news that broke today about Rocco Marriott committing to UCF. I kind of alluded it to you guys a couple days ago about some of the recruiting things that are kind of getting in the woodworks. Maybe a potential receiver, a top-end receiver committing to UCF here in the next couple weeks. Quarterback. A lot of people, and listen, you guys tell me if you'd rather talk recruiting or if you'd rather talk this game. We're going to get into this game because ultimately, let's call it like it is. This game, not a lot of people are going to be attending. Not a lot of people are going to be watching. It is, it's one of those games where you're kind of hoping for the best just because it's a team you should beat. Oklahoma State is a team you definitely should beat. But also at the end of the day, you're right now, you're really not fighting for much. There's not a high chance you're going to beat BYU, but I do think there is some talking points about if you win this game, you are one game away from a bowl game, and you can really coach up your team to say, listen, nobody's expecting us to go to Provo and beat, or I'm thinking, nobody's expecting us to go and beat BYU on the road. But you have that opportunity if you win today. If you don't win today, there is that, you know, a kind of sour taste in our mouths about how this season ended. I think if you beat Oklahoma State today, you can preach that you beat the teams you were supposed to beat, but you just couldn't beat the one or two teams that were maybe neck and neck right there. And I think you can kind of build on that, and people can see what you've really done to improve. If you lose today, you throw that out the window. You lose to one of the worst teams in college football, and there's just a sour taste heading to the end of the year. Jonathan, can I swing by? You're more than welcome to swing by. Again, I don't have a co-host right now, so I will totally ask some questions to you. Gorilla Guru, I wish I could be there for the last home game, but I'm catching a flight to Charlotte right now, though. Yeah, unfortunately, if you don't have ESPN Plus, and I mean, to be fair, I think if you're flying Delta or you're flying a airline that has Wi-Fi, you should be able to watch the game. But with that also being said, I'm assuming you're not flying an airline that has Wi-Fi. So there is that. Joe P., great news with Rocco. Let's put everything aside for now, get a win, and keep faint hopes of bowl season alive. Yeah, so we're going to definitely have, not next week, because next week is the final game, BYU, most likely the final game. I mean, it'd be crazy if UCF get a win there. We're really going to start talking recruiting here in the next couple weeks. There's some exciting stuff happening in recruiting that I don't think a lot of us expected to happen, but it's kind of happening. I know a lot of people, oh, look at here. Wow. 8 minutes late. And I actually started late just for you, too. It's crazy. Get your mic out. I also have your connector in my big bag. Get us, everybody. I know a lot of people are asking me about Kane Archer, and that's kind of the talking point is what's happening with Kane Archer. It is my understanding, most likely, that Kane Archer will not be coming to UCF with this move. I think UCF has kind of pivoted. They've wanted to go for Rocco. So it is my understanding that Kane most likely will not be coming to UCF. Utah is going hard after Kane Archer right now, so he will be most likely going to the Big 12. But that is the latest, is because Rocco Marriott has committed to UCF and UCF was going after Rocco. There was an understanding, and UCF wanted to pivot to Rocco and get out of the Kane Archer business. But who knows what's going to happen? I think Kane's going to be really good. But with that being said, it's kind of, at the end of the day, you're getting your highest rated quarterback recruit in program history, which is saying something. Oh, you weren't even plugged in yet. Oops. Hold on. Let's get Nick able to talk here. Thing on? I don't know what. Whoa. I'm guessing it's me. Is it plugged in? See, this is what happens when you show up late. Stuff doesn't work. Flip the switch down. Live TV, this wasn't plugged in all the way. I bet that worked. Sorry for the technical difficulties. 1 second. He didn't plug it in. He didn't plug it in all the way.
Yeah, I'm late. I couldn't plug in a simple thing into the computer.
Now you're good. Talk.
Yeah, just a litany of mistakes here by myself.
Welcome.
On the last day. On the last day.
On the last pregame live show, you show up late, which is fine. You know, it is. Here
oh
it
my
comes
goodness! And
just when the band is going.
The band is coming. That's
just
great.
when the band's going.
That's great.
What's up?
I came. See.
Hey, you want to say hi? What's your prediction?
I'm a grad student for the marching bands here, so they're about to come in soon. So.
Oh, we are aware. We heard the loud noise.
Yeah, very loud, but it's going to be a great game. I think the score is going to be 67-3.
Thanks for coming. 67-3. That'd be a fun day.
I don't think it's going to be 67-3. I'm just going to go on a limb and say it won't.
Nick is on record saying he thinks this is going to be a close game.
And I haven't changed my opinion on that.
I stick to what I said. I think it's a blowout.
By the way, I love the respect here on the overlay that you have for today's show. I love that Oklahoma State logo that you chose. You chose the fun one.
Well, can I just be honest? I hate the horizontal.
Yeah,
one,
I hate it too.
And it takes up so much space. So I just stuck with the little cowboy.
Yeah, I like that.
I used it for our actual the show graphic too, because I mean, again, it's just more upwards, takes up less space as the band comes on through here. And Joe said the Fantastic Duo is back in action, and he said welcome. But obviously, I just talked about kind of quarterback. I wanted to get your. Usually they stop when it's about here. I wanted to get your take. Now you've been driving. We'll let it play out. This is a little bit later than normal. All right, I think they're done after this. I want to get your take because he was driving when the news dropped about Rocco Marriott.
I was though at a stoplight, and I started scrolling through Twitter, and I saw it.
So I have not asked you your thoughts on it. Obviously, signing day is here in a couple weeks, but what are your initial reactions to potentially getting UCF's highest-rated quarterback in program history?
Yeah, on the surface, it sounds great. I'm gonna be honest; I don't really know much about Rocco yet.
I'm gonna watch a lot of clips.
We're probably gonna do a lot of researching into him during this game or before the game, whatever. So I don't want to have a misinformed opinion necessarily, but highest-rated recruit. It sounds great. it's kind of interesting. I do know enough to know that most of his offers, even though he's a 4-star, are they're not Power 4 programs. But I think I heard that he's a guy that kind of burst onto the scene late, so he maybe just hasn't gotten those offers yet. But it's still, nonetheless, it sounds like a big deal, and it tells me, and I think you probably were talking about it before I got here, they're not going to take 3 quarterbacks in this cycle.
No.
I don't know how many programs do. And I sort of had this conversation with you, and I don't know if I had it on the show yet, but it feels like everybody in the fan base has been so fired up about, Kane Archer. And yet, Dante Carr is actually the higher rated recruit.
Yeah.
By a good margin too.
Yeah.
They're not exactly close to each other.
And also, we were the only school to recruit Dante Carr as a quarterback.
Yeah, and throughout this entire time, Dante Carr has been, pretty loyal to UCF, I'd say, and he's locked his commitment down. We'll see if this changes anything, obviously. But he's been going out and doing the rounds on shows, across the UCF community, and really active on social media and pumping up UCF. So I don't know. I just found it fascinating. It feels like everybody has sort of wrapped their arms around Kane Archer, and I even saw before this was before Rocco decided to flip his commitment from James Madison to UCF today, I was reading people on social media, and they were like, "No, we want Kane. No, we want Kane." And I'm like, I understand you love Kane Archer, but he's not the end-all be-all guy, obviously. So.
And I said I think Kane's going to be really good.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Kane Archer.
We don't know. We don't know how any of these 3 quarterbacks are going to turn out. But, yeah, of the 3, Kane is actually the lowest rated. So I'm not, super upset about it. I don't imagine he's going to stick with his commitment to UCF, obviously. And you just have to accept that. But, we talked a little bit earlier this week about recruiting and where it's at. And you had 12 guys committed. Now you have 13. You really have 12 because you're going to lose one of these quarterbacks. There's probably some activity that's going to happen here soon.
There's some big activity about to happen in a couple weeks.
You have to give a lot of praise, I think, to Mackenzie Milton.
Yeah.
Because I assume that he's the primary recruiter for all of these guys. And for a guy that really hasn't done this before, this is a pretty big deal for him to go him to go steal a quarterback from James Madison, and maybe even Missouri might have been.
Missouri was pushing
hard for him.
He visited Missouri a week and a half
ago. That was a big deal, and then already having Carr and Archer committed to begin with. So Mackenzie Milton seems to be a great fit in this role so far.
Well, and that's also the thing. That is the factor that Rocco's come on late. He committed to James Madison. He's been committed since May. Missouri. His dad played for Missouri in college, and they came on late. They came and pushed hard, and UCF still was able to nab a commitment. Now, granted, like we all say, you have to sign on the dotted line, but it does make you feel a lot better knowing that the signing day is here in a couple weeks. Now, if he does not sign in a couple weeks, then we can go down that rabbit hole. But big-time commitment today. Let's talk a little bit about the game, because I know that's probably why most of you are here. Again, it's a game that, listen, Nick thinks it's going to be close. I'm pretty confident that UCF's going to be able to handle this pretty easily. UCF still has a lot of injuries, so there is that factor. I just don't think Oklahoma State is a very good football team at all. They're probably the worst college
what would make you
football
say
team.
that?
Huh?
What would make you say that?
I don't know. Maybe the record. Maybe they can't score more than 25 points. It's a rough team. Now, UCF has struggled over the last couple of weeks. It really doesn't give you a lot of hope for how UCF can play. But at the end of the day, it's senior day. It's at home.
They're pretty solid at home. Night and day between the way they play on the road and the way they play at home.
And also the factor that, listen, I think it's a good coaching moment. Hey, guys, we need 2 wins to go to a bowl game here. Get one today, and then, yes, we have an uphill battle at BYU, but you could use that as a coaching point heading into next week.
Sorry, I zoned out there because I was looking at something. Yeah, I still see this as a close game, though, because I just think it comes down to the injuries for UCF.
True.
And I haven't seen, the final report yet of who's in and out. I got to assume most of those guys that were on the questionable or, probable list probably are going to be playing. But I don't know. They've been trending, I think, in a bad direction in that department. And I kind of said I think they're sort of limping to the finish line. And Oklahoma State, they were able to keep it within reason against Kansas State pretty crappy football game, 14-6, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Oklahoma State empty the tank. Maybe they just have nothing to bring to the table, period. And this UCF defense, which has been really good at home, can continue to get some takeaways, and they could just overwhelm Oklahoma State and make this a pretty easy game. I mean, that's the hope, obviously. But, this is the last home game of the season. They generally have played well here. By the way, it's a beautiful day for football. I feel like I should point that out.
I was talking before. I said it does not feel like end of November. It feels like August.
It's kind of hot today.
It's hot.
I kid you not, I've worn shorts to every game so far, and I put on pants today. I had pants on when I was standing in my bedroom, and then I was like, it's kind of hot, isn't it? And I was like, I think I'm gonna regret this if I keep these pants on. So I'm wearing shorts again. You're wearing pants. You're looking very dapper today, actually.
Thank you.
Probably the best you've looked all year.
Honestly, it's saying a lot.
You brought your best for the last.
Which, for this game, I should have worn it for a higher and more important game.
I'll tell you what I'm interested about, because today's game is today's game. It is what it is. Like, the whole season has sort of been like, it is what it is. I'm more interested about the future, and that's the talking points that I'm into. Not to, discredit this game necessarily.
No, that's why I wanted to talk quarterback.
But quarterback, I was going to go there with quarterback. It's another start for Taven today. Is there anything he can do in these last two games to, give you any sort of confidence if, and that's a big if, he were to come back next year?
No.
No? Completely out?
Yeah, he's done. You know what he is.
I mean, for the record, I agree. But
yeah, and I don't
if anybody feels differently, I'd like to hear.
Listen, I don't think – I'll say this. I think Taven is better than what we had last year.
Low bar.
It's a low bar. I think Taven, obviously highly recruited coming out of high school, has kind of fluttered since he's been in college. I think he would kill it at, a Tulane. I think he'd kill it at a UAB. Go to an American school, and I think he'd do really well. I just think for the type of quarterback that UCF wants and needs, he's just not it. But I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just think it's a roller coaster. One game he's really good.
He just doesn't feel like a good fit.
He's not a fit
for the offense.
No.
You need somebody that this offense really requires somebody that can move.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably part of the reason why they started the season with Cam Fancher as quarterback, because he sort of gave you that element. As this season has gone on, and granted, maybe not fair because he's dealing with so many different injuries, and it's been so much dysfunction, obviously, in front of him, but Taven Jackson just does not move well.
No.
He just doesn't. He doesn't have good pocket awareness. I just haven't seen a lot of data points that shows me, hey, let's bring him back next year and pay him whatever you have to pay him and let him and two freshmen fight it out. I just haven't seen that as a solution.
And we said, I think the decision was made weeks ago, or a while ago. Taven is not the guy. Jakari's been hurt. Cam, you kind of knew what you were going to get, and it's okay. So, yeah, next season, I've been on record saying it's going to be a transfer quarterback that they're going to pay some money to, and you're going to have two incoming freshmen. And, yeah, they probably might add a guy, or they'll keep Davi Belfort, most likely. So those are going to be your four quarterbacks. What's the crazy thing? We still don't know who the transfer quarterback is going to be, obviously. So it really is up in the air. But I do think there is a understanding of where the program is headed, and that is without Taven Jackson. And you have to appreciate Taven putting his body on the line this year, time in and time again, playing through injury. And that's why I can't sit here and just berate Taven Jackson. Do I think he's the quarterback for UCF next year? No. Do I think he could still be successful? Yes, just not on this roster, not on this team, not with this offense.
No. And shifting gears a little bit back to the game, I guess, a little bit. I guess this is senior day, right? Here at UCF.
So,
Are we doing this today? Because I haven't even heard anything.
We are doing this. So I was walking in, and I saw some parents, I'll be honest, and I get it, we're celebrating seniors. It feels so different now because it's I don't know who's a senior and who has eligibility. I don't know. It is because so many new players come in nowadays, it's almost a little tainted. Not for the families because you're celebrating your student athlete, but for the fan-wise, okay, I know Paul Rubel, we're celebrating. He's been a UCF homer. I think Malachi Lawrence is a senior, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Nigel Leake's been here a couple years, but like because of the transfer portal, it almost like the senior day is just not the same as it used to be like 10 years ago.
Well, yeah.
We're celebrating seniors, obviously, but it just you don't have the same like connection.
I mean, Malachi, you have a connection to. He's been
Malachi,
here.
Paul.
He's been here for his
entire
entire time.
Yeah.
Paul's been here since Heupel.
Yeah.
Like Paul's been here for a minute, so he'll get a good reaction today. Miles, I think Miles coming into the season, Miles was the ultimate fan favorite, and we were expecting a big year out of him, and unfortunately, the circumstances in front of him did not allow that to happen.
No.
But I don't really think many people have necessarily put that on Miles, all the way. So I think he's going to get a big ovation today. It's the last game for Jaden Nixon too. So both of those tailbacks, heading off to better things hopefully, and yeah.
Yep. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
What were you going to say?
I'm not saying it.
Because you chuckled when I said better things.
I'm not saying it. Nothing negative. Nothing negative. All right. We're gonna end it here. I think that was solid. Almost 30 minutes for a pregame show. Probably more views on here than ESPN Plus will get for this game. But any final?
Hey, last week's game was actually had a lot more viewers
Of
than I
course
thought
it
it was
did.
going
It
to
was
have.
on Fox
I know it was
and-
on Fox, but I was like, man, 1.14 million of you that stuck around to watch that is crazy.
It's crazy.
But God bless you.
Final thoughts.
Let's just enjoy this. This is the again. I said this earlier this week, but it's like I feel like we just started the
Dude,
season,
yeah.
and all of a sudden we like fast forward, and it's the end of November. Thanksgiving is next week, and this is it for home games. It's probably my last trip up here until next year, if I'm being completely honest. So, let's enjoy it. It hasn't been the season we wanted, but we kind of expected this going in. But let's end it on a high note, end with a win, and try to go 5-1 at home this year, 5-2 rather.
5-2.
5-2. We'll take that. Got to figure out how to win on the road. They're on a lengthy road losing streak going back to 2023. Or no, they had one last year, but it's been a while, so we'll figure that out. But try to win this game, and let's at least go into the last game of the season playing for something.
Guys, we will be back for our Charge On post-game live show. As always, at the end of the game, you can see us on the field right after, and we'll go break everything down that you see in about the next hour. For Nick Geddes, I am Sean Green. This has been the Charge On pregame live show. We will see you guys after the game.